Welcome back to 2PENGALS.
I told you once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel.
2, 3. Hi.
Hello. I'm August.
I'm Elle, and
welcome
we are
back to
back.
2PENGALS.
Welcome back.
So, today's topic is on struggling as an artist, or the broke artist, as it is termed. Or there's another word for it, or another name for it.
Starving artist?
There we go. Starving artist.
The starving artists.
So if you've been keeping up to date with these videos, I don't tend to stay on topic or track things, which is still going to happen probably. But I've also sectioned myself off into 4 different sections, specifically on the work, the feelings that go into it, the time that goes into it, and the pricing that goes into it. If you can see what I'm looking at my phone. I wrote everything down on my phone. And
I'm going to just bounce off her topics because that's what starving artists do. No.
yes, we
No,
steal.
we steal. No, we don't.
We just steal art
We don't
supplies.
steal. We from each other. Don't. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Don't take that. We don't steal.
Not from the store.
We steal from each other. But we did.
And then,
wanna-
like, a year later, you're like, isn't that mine? Like,
Yeah, I still have your markers. You still.
Oh, yeah,
have
I
my
still have your
markers.
markers.
You might
I looked
want
at them
to.
the other day, and I was like,
I think
oh,
you can keep them
why?
because I want to keep your blue marker.
Of course you do.
But okay, so we basically want to talk about how it is like for us anyway, selling our art, or you know, what goes into like the frustration and the pricing
Yeah,
of
which
how frustrating it can be.
We have 2 different experiences. For one, if you would like to show your beautiful bag that I'm probably going to steal at some point to wear to an
Well, you
event or
can't
something.
steal it
Yes, I
because
can.
it's my mom's.
Oh,
So
because I was
she
going to say I
bought
could
this.
wear it, and
I'm
then I could give
using
it
it.
back after I
I'm
show it off to
using it.
people.
But you know,
I guess I have to buy my own.
I have 2 art stores at the moment. I only use one right now because it's the only one that's like producing anything, I guess. This is from fineartamerica.com. I'll have August put the link.
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
put the links.
description.
We'll put links to whatever we talk about in the description. I
Um,
try to do that very often.
So this bag was created, what they do is they create the bag for you. You have the drawing, of course, but they print and
Ship
and do all of that. And pretty much when someone buys it, that's pretty much what they're paying for. They're paying for the shipping and the, they're
what
paying.
do you get out of it? Like, let's say I bought your stuff.
I get a mark, so I mark up the product.
Yeah.
So I don't mark it up a lot. I don't care to mark it up a lot because this is just a way to get me out there right now. And then I'll go into an art store
And then
where
you'll do it yourself.
I'll pay for more. Yeah. So I mark it up like $5, maybe $10. I'm not looking to get rich off of this website anyway.
So basically, it's like having a Redbubble shop.
Yeah,
Which
so
I have a Redbubble
So
shop.
they do everything for you.
Yeah.
And you
I just upload the artwork.
Yeah.
And make sure it like fits within their dimensions and stuff. And
Yeah, and then, you know, I do get paid.
Yeah.
I get paid.
You get
out.
paid like I want to say revenue or commission. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, you do get your
Something.
revenue. So pretty much with
Royalties.
Yes. So with Fine Art America, you get your markup. Whatever you marked up the price to be. If you mark it
Get,
up
like, a percentage
$5,
of
if
that.
you mark it up $10, if you mark it up $20, you get that $5, $10, $20. I made the mistake of making it low because I felt like the prices were too high.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get a lot back when people purchase the stuff. But like I said, for me right now, I just want to get started. I want people to buy it and I want people to like it. So then when the time comes that
You want
I
quality
actually,
versus...
Yeah, when the time comes that I have like 30, 50, 20,000 people buying my stuff,
Then
I'll
you'll
be
make
able to
money.
market higher, but I'll probably end up using a different website, something that is more geared towards I'm doing most of the work, so I'm getting paid for what I'm doing. I don't mind the website. I actually really like it. I think they price everything very, very equal.
Evenly?
Like even. Like it's not like super, super expensive. If you're gonna get a big comforter, you're gonna pay a big comforter price. You're gonna pay
like a
Macy's
comforter is
style.
like 50 to between 50 and 80
No.
for a comforter at Macy's.
No. Have you seen their comforter? Well, a comforter set.
Oh,
is
okay.
cheap.
That's what I'm
It's
thinking
more
of.
expensive.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't
that's-
buy separate. I buy
Yeah.
sets. When I
But
can.
the set is more expensive
I know.
at Macy's.
I prefer to buy the sets though,
Yeah,
because
I
it
don't
comes
like-
with everything that I would need.
Yeah, I don't like the pieces either. But like,
But even then, I'll go to like bargain outlets.
yeah, so like, you know, a pillow can range from like
So,
$20
so I'm
to
gonna
$50.
pause you for a
so.
second because that's like my final section pricing and like how to
Okay,
mark
sorry.
it up and everything.
Go.
But it's a good segue. So literally, the way I started this, I wrote, "Never feel like you should give up on art because you aren't making any money," which is kind of what I tell myself every day. And then second that, I wrote, "Don't compare yourself to another artist. If you do add some..." Wait, what? Oh, okay. Hold on. "Don't compare yourself to another artist. If you do, add some salt." Meaning, do not formulate your own way.
Yeah.
Because that didn't make sense to
That's
me for a
very
second. I was
true.
like, add salt? What?
Alright.
That is my own quote. Thank you very much. And I wrote literally, if it works for them, like you, like way you're selling works for you, if I tried to do it that way, it probably wouldn't work for me. Well, to an extent.
Okay.
So it's like, so try something different and break away from the mold. You don't need to be 100% perfect.
You don't.
Which brings
I mean,
us to the artwork specifically.
And I'm gonna bring this back. If this was 100% perfect, it would not look like this. It would not have the streaky marks. It would not have, like, this was.
See, and the way she's doing this now, I see basically no imperfections in this. I see.
But I know exactly what's like wrong.
What
with
you
the
messed
picture.
up.
Yeah. So like.
But
for
you
me,
still like it because you fixed
this,
it in a way.
To be completely honest, this is my style. I don't care to have everything looking like a pristine piece of artwork because not everything. I'm sorry, but life is not a pristine piece of artwork. Like everything is
perfect.
different. Everything has its imperfections. This happens to be one of my favorite pictures, despite the imperfections. So I had to learn myself, like, not everything is going to come out perfectly. I may look at this in like another year or two and
You're like, I wanna
find
redo
something
this.
else wrong with
Have
it, and I
you-
might want to redo it. So
Sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Have you done those challenges where like find a really old piece of art and then redo it?
Yes, but I
But you have
haven't-
to do it every 3 years. That
No,
challenge.
I've never did that.
Okay.
But that that would be
You
interesting.
should try that. Or like, there's another challenge where like let's say I needed to recreate that specific piece of art, but I had to put my own style on it in like my own way.
Okay.
Like that could probably be a video for another thing because I can
That
turn the
could- we could
tripod
do a-
sideways.
We could do a collaboration. I was trying to get the word out. Sorry.
We've done one.
We can do another one. Duh.
But anyway, so I wrote the artwork itself, something. There was a podcast on YouTube that I was watching, and the art talks about creating these like wonderful pieces, but using cheap supplies. And when you're using cheap supplies, you can't price it the same way if you were using, let's pretend Prismacolors are like $300. We're gonna pretend they're not, but let's say I'm using dollar store Crayola markers to make a piece of art, and then I make the same art using those Prismacolors that are like $300. You have to take into account how much the dollar store markers were versus the Prismacolor markers, how much ink you're using on the paper, and
I'm listening.
like
Go ahead.
and then the way you price it for someone else to buy it. Like, let's say I price that dollar store art $300, but let's say you didn't know. it was just dollar store art, but I did. And like later on you found out that this was just a dollar store piece and you shouldn't have had to pay $300 for it. It should have been like maybe $200 because I priced my time at blah blah blah.
I was just gonna say that I feel like also like you can do a Prismacolor piece of artwork and only spend like 5 minutes on it compared to doing 2 or 3 hours of that dollar store work. I would still,
which it's harder to actually work with dollar store products than it is to work with the good stuff.
I think I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that you could mark it up only because you've spent more time.
That's what I was thinking too. Because when I was listening to it, I was like, it shouldn't really matter because those cheap supplies aren't really cheap supplies. I don't think, and this is my opinion, and I may be misconstrued on it, but I don't think any type of actual supply should determine how much your quality. Yeah, because it's there they go. That's one of them. Repeat what you
your
just
quality
said.
of work shouldn't be based on your supplies.
Okay. Cause like, let's say we have the exact same markers, and we have almost the exact same colors. We make the exact same piece of artwork, but I spent 5 minutes on mine. You spent 2 hours.
Yeah, I feel
and
like
we both priced it at $20.
I feel like it still should. Well, work-wise, like the time that it takes is a little different. But for me, like,
yeah, but still, I feel like I should have probably said like, yeah, give me $10 for this because I spent 5 minutes on it.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
I didn't spend like 2 hours like you did, so you deserve the $20 more than I would.
Yeah, I agree.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I agree with that too because
we can also agree to disagree.
No,
don't argue in the comments.
I agree with that because like you just said, like the time that goes into it should be a little more important.
Yeah,
like
that's why I have it as like one of my main focal points.
If I use Prismacolor color pencils all the time,
and I use Copics.
I use Copic markers. Copic markers, whatever. So when it comes down to my work, of course I want it to look a certain way. Like I said in I think our very first podcast, it's like I like things to be aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. So I'm gonna put that actually. Shut up. I'm gonna put the time in for that work. I'm not gonna sell myself short. But if I was still using Crayola markers and Crayola colored pencils, I'd still put that same time into what I'm doing, and I'd probably put more time because. And
you don't know what Crayola markers are going to do to you. You haven't worked with them that often. Like that's why you spend more time on it.
So I would
you need to figure out the tools.
I would have to learn how to relearn how to work Crayola markers because I haven't.
There's a curve of learning with everything.
I haven't used a water-based type of marker in like forever because I got addicted to alcohol-based markers. So.
Once you get used to one, it's kind of different going back to the other one. You're kind of like, oh, this is what I could do with this. But it doesn't stay where I want it to stay.
Exactly.
And then you have to worry about, like, your hands getting wet, the paper getting wet. Where the alcohol-based markers, they do, like, bleed through if they get wet or something. But it's different. It's different.
Like, rub that out, though, with alcohol.
It's weird.
With, like, colorless blender, sorry. You can just rub that color out. It's not that hard to do.
Well, that too. Like if you go over the lines or something, like, and bleed a color into another color, then colorless blender, and then recolor over it, and you're perfectly fine. Whereas if you used a Crayola water-based marker, it does not do that. It molds the colors and turns them like mushy black.
Yeah. So yeah, art supplies can be a whole different
video
topic. But that's pretty much when we go back to
which I like working with watercolors.
And I'm not good at it. So
see, and that's how I felt at first, and then I realized watercolors are a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I can.
Like you can feel like you're not good at it and actually do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I tried and I failed, and I literally threw the piece of artwork away.
this brings me to my personal second topic about feelings in the artwork and stuff. So I'm gonna just read you what I wrote because it probably won't make sense.
No, go ahead.
So feelings go into the fact of pricing your own work. We're still on the pricing and timing and like the majority of the topic. I wrote like I underprice my work, like how I was saying, like you would charge 20, I would charge 10.
I underpriced.
And I wrote, the last commission cycle I offered a free piece of, I think you saw that Facebook post I put. Like I offered 3 $15 pieces, and they were all like I think 5x7, and then the price of it would go up depending on which size you got. But I also offered a free one to the first person who commented. So it was really supposed to be like a free one to the first person who commented with a commission, but it ended up being like just a free commission.
Okay.
So, because I'm way too nice sometimes, especially if I know you, and I know you're like struggling. Yeah. So I was like, I feel like it might have been because of my style of work. Wait, what did I say? I got one request on top of that, and they looked at my stuff and then they changed their mind. I don't know what that was. Changed their mind, and then we're like, what if it was on this side? No. Anyway, because of the style I do, like we talked about that in I think 2 or 3 videos back, where my style is completely different from yours. Like your bag is a more, like it still has elements I would have done, but yours is still more realistic than mine would be. Because my style is cartoony, kid friendly, but also I don't know what the other word I was gonna say was. You can tell me. How would you classify my style?
Cartoony and kid friendly. I want to say,
I don't know. Because sometimes
I say it's like a comic-y, not like funny, but like you know how people do those like little funny looking comics, like that. Not in a bad way, but like I feel like you would be good at like the little funny,
like the comic strips.
Kitty, yeah.
I used to do those.
Yeah,
I wrote a comic book when I was 15. I don't know what grade that was.
I want to make a comic book though.
And then my mom took me to go see the writers on Cartoon Network because they were going to make it a little TV series.
Oh, that's cute.
I never went back.
Oh, you see.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I could probably still try to like get her to get the guy's number, and then
you should probably think about that. That would.
Then we can make our own cartoon.
That would be
either that, or we can make a cartoon for YouTube. For this channel, we can do cartoon videos. I know how to work with Flash.
Sure. Okay.
Animate the podcast.
Animate podcast.
Animate the podcast. But yeah. What were you going to add to that?
Oh, so you were talking about like, you know, people struggling, and that's kind of the basis of this podcast is I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we don't consider this our job because we let people off easy. We give them...
It's a hobby right now. That's
for
the
me,
problem.
That's what
the
I was
problem.
Gonna say. For us, we want this as a job. Like I'm not gonna speak for you, but
I want a combination job. So like I want my own business, but if I can do art and make a living off of that, I'm all for it.
For me, I think I've said this 1,000 times. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm a designer. So I want me as a person to be a business.
Yeah.
I want, So, like, I want people to take me seriously, number one. And number two, I want people to realize that when I make the art, I'm not looking for you to spend tens of thousands of dollars on it.
Yeah, you could... Like,
but I'm also not gonna sell much. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not and I believe this with you as well. I'm not gonna sell myself short of what I know my talent is. I'm not going to say I'm the greatest artist in the world, because that would be a lie. But I've been told
I'm
this,
good.
Yeah, I've been told this numerous times that I sell myself short. I
you're
price an artwork cheaper than what it should be.
comparing ourselves, even though I probably shouldn't compare them because they're completely different. You're better than I am at certain things, and I'm better at certain things than you.
Yeah.
Like, we can admit this.
I'm not ashamed to admit, like, I'm not good at everything.
It's just awkward
And
saying it
this
to the
takes
person
me
when they're
to-
sitting next to you.
This takes me to my name that I changed on Facebook. It was Miss L. That says Meaty L now.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Meaty
why
L,
did you-
Meaty stands for mediocre. And it's not
Why?
like in a bad way, but
Oh.
it's like, I'm not the greatest at everything, but I'm okay. Like, I'm okay at certain things. So, like, and mediocre. Like,
Oh, so you're saying like you're in between. So
Yeah,
you're
like,
like
if
you're
you ever-
you're not here, but
if you
you're
heard
not
of,
here either. So
what is it? Jack of all trades is better. Jack of all trades is better than master of one, and it simply means like I would rather be just okay at certain things, like a lot of things. Let's put it like that. I would rather be okay with being good at a lot of things than being great at one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather.
But at the
do
same
that.
time, you have to be careful with that, because if you're just good at everything, like if you're not good at one thing, and you're just like okay at everything, you're kind of stuck in a circle.
But then you kind of find what you're actually like, what you can excel at, and then you can still.
No, because you're
then
worried
you can
that
excel
if you're
at
excelling
that.
at this, you need to go over here and do this.
No, I don't think so.
That's how I think of it.
Oh well, I think like if you're good at all of this,
That's
like,
probably the problem. That's the way I think of it.
Maybe I'm saying it the wrong way. Like better than like.
Like the way
majority.
you're saying it is, I get good at this, move on to something else. Get good at this, go to something else.
No,
get good
like,
at this, and then come back to whatever I was good at the first time and like redo it, like a review.
I think this way, like, say I just decided to be an artist and that's it. That's all I did with my time. I just drew and all of that and all that.
Probably a really good
and
artist.
then one day my hand breaks and I can never do art again. Then what am I left to do?
Right?
How can I write with a broken hand? One hand.
Dragon speak.
So for me, and
Ow.
no, because I was gonna say that I could literally speak writing stuff, or I could become an actress like I want
Storyteller.
to do, or like I can do a lot of different other things. But
You have to be good at talking and telling people.
exactly,
and
if I'm not good like
formulating your words.
if I'm not good at I'm not good at formulating my words.
I was
don't
about to
feel
say
like-
you were doing a really good job now until you stuttered.
So I said formalism. So I feel like for me, like I'm not good at speaking at a whole bunch of people. I'm good at this because this is a camera and it's not actual people talking back to me.
Oh no, my brother's watching.
This is true. Hi, little brother. But I would rather like if my hand, and God knock on a whole bunch of wood, my hand gets messed up and I can't
Wood's
use it
over
anymore.
there.
This is what shush.
not real.
Shush.
Yeah, that's better. All
So,
right.
say, and I can't use my hand for the rest of my life. I would be
That's
devastated.
terrifying. Why would you say
Would
that?
I learn how to draw with my left hand? Absolutely. I would learn how to draw with my left hand, but it would never be the same for me again because this is my hand. This is my dominant hand.
That's why you should just start now.
Start to learn how to be ambidextrous.
Yeah, I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah, good for you. So yeah, for me, that's kind of, so I would rather know how to
I prefer my right hand, but
I would rather be good at like a whole bunch of things rather than being good at just one thing. And yeah, I don't know how we got there, but cool.
you were talking about. Wait.
I don't know how we got there, but yeah.
Talking about.
Oh,
Timing.
You were saying I'm good. You're good at something. You said you're good at some things, and I'm good at some things.
Oh, feelings. That's
Feelings. So yeah. So circle
Now,
of life.
moving into the timing.
Yep.
And actually, I'm going to read both of these timing and pricing because they go together. So I'm going to read the whole thing that I wrote. Like, I wrote you guys a whole spiel. Jeez. This is like a 2-page paper here that I wrote during nap time. Okay. Timing is important to consider. And even with my style, like, these are all personal to me. We're just throwing you in. It takes me a bit of time depending on what you want me to draw you.
That didn't turn off, did it? I thought I heard a bing.
No, that's
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
It takes a bit of time depending on what you want. And if I want your piece done the way you'd want it done, because I have to balance that with my own personal schedule plus my own personal style, meaning I need to set aside at least those 4 hours or so if I know, like, let's pretend I have like a 24 by 16 piece of Bristol board. Yeah.
That's a lot of paper.
That's going to take me 4 to 6 hours to finish. Especially since I want to finish it that day. Like, if I have to, I'll break it up into 2 days, but I really prefer drawing, inking, coloring, all within the
Be
same.
careful because your tripod is like sitting at the corner of the table. Just okay.
All within like the same time.
Just saw it. Hi.
And yeah, that's what I was saying. Like how I was saying, my draft becomes the final, which, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I take longer in that retrospect because
Because you transfer it to a better.
I do marker paper.
Yeah.
and
I
then
don't.
I have a
one.
light box now. Or
I have a light box too?
Light.
That was the beep.
Okay. I knew I was hearing something.
It's on. The battery's just getting hotter. I think we're good for another.
That dude.
Because that's the 32.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me restart the recorder. And back to where we were. Sorry for the intermission.
Yeah. So
And
sorry, I transfer my stuff. So.
yeah, she was saying she has marker paper. I don't. So.
Well, it's not even just marker paper. I would if I'm doing something on, Bristol paper.
Yeah.
I don't use big pieces.
Do you sketch heavy though? Is
No.
that why?
No.
Because I don't.
I
I'm
sketch-
very, very light.
I sketch light, but if say I wanted to do something on marker paper, but I also wanted to do it on the Bristol board, I'm gonna do it on both because I want to.
Well, that's different though.
Or I want to
like I'm saying, you asked me for a 24 by 16 piece of Bristol. I'm doing all my work on that one piece of Bristol.
Oh, see, I can't do that. I don't like pencil lines all the time. Like I don't like the erase.
But you erase it, and then you ink it and color over it. Because the way I draw, most of my lines are supposed to be there, so I don't have to erase.
This is true.
Like, I'm trying to think of how many times I actually erase a piece. Maybe 2, maybe 3 times. That's about it.
Well, I'm a perfectionist, so.
Yeah, but so am I. But I tried to get it right the first time.
I can't.
But anyway.
Or I have to do multiple versions of it just to look at it. So.
But even with that, I wrote but that's how you determine what your price should be, because you're thinking about the materials, the size of the paper. That 24 by 16 most likely cost me like $5 in like a big pack of whatever. Maybe actually no, that's cheap.
I was about to say that 24 by
That's
16
cheap.
has to be
That's
at
like
least
18, 20.
I was about to say that's $20 in itself.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I wrote you need to take time into that into consideration, plus the time it takes to even get the commission, go through the process of commissioning, because commissioning people is not just like, hey, draw me this. You're obviously gonna ask me, what do you want me to draw?
Exactly.
How do you want me to draw it? What do you want me to draw this on? What do you want me to draw it with? Do I want marker?
like,
Do I want watercolors? Do I
consulting.
want pen? Yeah.
Consulting.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. You consult with the artist prior to.
You do have to, and I think.
And then
Go ahead,
at this
we'll go.
point, let's say I'm asking you to draw me an elephant watercolor on a 30 by 30 piece of Bristol at
The 30 by 30?
and at this point she can say no.
Absolutely. That would literally take days.
Yeah.
That would have.
I want a rainbow watercolored elephant. Okay.
Oh, see, that's going to take more than days.
That's going to take you a week.
Because, first of all,
Finding 30 by 30 is difficult.
number one, finding 30 by 30 is difficult. And this is just kind of like what we're... what we,
I wrote in examples. I'll get to that.
what we go through when we're consulting for commissions. I haven't done them yet, but, well, technically
You
I
haven't
do
done
them.
commissions?
I just don't... I guess I don't consider them commissions because I'm not saying, like, I'm doing this commission or commission...
Okay, so I have something on you.
So...
I've done multiple commissions.
So I feel like, okay, so here's the process in my opinion.
Okay.
You're telling me you want 30 by 30.
We're twins today.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry, I got distracted.
You're telling
my
me you
hair's
want a
like-
30 by 30 watercolor rainbow elephant
Yes.
on canvas.
On Bristol.
Or just... You cannot do watercolor on Bristol.
That's the point.
No. So then you say no to that.
Or on watercolor paper. Let's go with that.
Watercolor paper, okay.
Oh, no. You know that flimsy material? It's like canvas, but it's like a rug. Feels
I
like a
kind of
rug.
know what you're talking about.
On that. Because it holds watercolor
See,
really
that's gonna cost more, in my
Yeah.
opinion, than
The material
if
costs more.
If I asked you to do it, or if you asked me to do it on just watercolor paper.
Right.
See, for watercolor paper, if you still want it 30 by 30, which is almost impossible, it would probably cost, I would say, no less than $100.
Right.
But if you want it on that paper, that
Which
good
is kind of the example I
muslin
have.
rug, paper
Is that what it's
type
called?
stuff. I don't know. I'm calling it muslin.
Muslin?
Muslin.
Muslin. Okay.
Muslin.
M-U-Z-L-I-N.
Muslin. Muslin.
Oh. Okay. Anyway.
If you do it on that, it would be no less than $200 because you are literally asking for something that's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of product. It's going to take a lot of investing in actually making that actually look like a rainbow with watercolor, and you have to have really good watercolor because I'm going to tell you, to be completely honest, cheap watercolor is not good. Like, and that's my opinion. So yeah, that's an example of how time affects the amount a person pays.
And I had an example here of like a 24 by 16 piece that I like charged $5 per extra inch, and like how you would have to pay an upfront cost of like $125.
Mm-hmm.
Like the official thing would be like $250. Like the whole thing would be $250. You pay an upfront cost of $125,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you get the final piece and you actually like it, you haven't asked me to make any changes or anything. Because in a commission process, you can still make changes. The client can still make changes on you,
They can.
which is kind of scary. Because you're working on this piece for who knows how long, and then they're like, but wait, no, I wanted a pink shirt, not a blue shirt. Then you have to do everything all over again. Which is why it's good that you do it on marker paper first and then transfer, which is, okay,
That's the battery,
right.
which is...
I was saying pricing a piece of art at $125.
Okay.
You charge me, and then in between this commission,
I
you
decide
all
to
of a
change
sudden...
something.
What if you want to change everything?
Then you pay more. Absolutely.
So you have the upfront cost, like you have a final cost, you have the upfront cost. Then in the middle, you want to change almost everything. So you would say I increase the price,
Yes.
or should I have an upfront cost and then like a backup cost, like in case that happens?
Well, yeah, then, okay.
Like already
yeah.
have it already priced into the work, because I'm sure if I say this is going to be $250, you pay me the $125, and then in the middle of it you say blah 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 blah, I want to change blah blah blah, and then I go, that's going to cost you an extra $20 or $25.
Yeah.
Would you cancel the commission?
No.
At that point, you'd
No.
be like, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's because we're artists too.
Well, you know what? I can't really say it. I wouldn't cancel it, but at the same time, like, I would have to understand that how much work goes into being the artist. No way.
Nope. Told you.